Here we go then, back for another breakfast with TNC. How are you guys doing? It's a beautiful day, the sun is shining, I am hungry, and I'm ready to talk about some Norwich City stuff. Let's do this. Right, I've put my eggs in there, I've whisked them up. Key thing with scrambled egg, you must put milk in there. I've tried it without milk, I've tried it with milk. It is tons better with milk. Whole milk in there, nearly there. Just leave hate comments now, just do it. Just unsubscribe, leave hate comments. That is a poor effort from me, dearie me. Here it is going now, guys. TalkNorwichCity here, back for another breakfast with TNC. As always, a massive thank you to the Acle Bridge Inn for sponsoring this series. It's still 2 meals for £10.95 over there. Go in there and say that you watch these videos and they'll give you a couple of meals for a tenner, which is an absolute Barry bargain. Now on to the worst news. So you might have seen that me and my mum have put a big investment into that butter dish. I think it was something like £2, you know, a substantial amount of my earnings into that butter dish, and it was just still rock hard. So I've been mugged off really, because I've been given what I thought was going to be soft, luscious butter, and it's a rock hard piece of butter that's ruined my toast. But I've kind of made up for it. If you haven't already subscribed, I think you should resubscribe. Haven't already unsubscribed, you should resubscribe because of this scrambled egg. The eggs are as fresh as you can get. They were pretty much caught out of the chicken's buttocks and put into the box. Is it weird? Is it just Norfolk, where there's like tons of houses that just sell eggs in their driveways because they have chickens, they keep chickens? We used to keep chickens. Is that just a Norfolk thing? Like, I've never seen it anywhere else where people just sell eggs in the front of their driveway. Anyway, I've been rambling too long. I'm about to tuck into this lovely breakfast. Right, I've just finished my breakfast, but I've just realised I made an absolute schoolboy error and forgotten a drink. I'll be right back.
2 hours later.
I'm back with a drink. Right, okay. Let's get into this breakfast with TNC then. So, let's start with probably the biggest story of the last couple of days, which is Rangers. Well, Alex Neil is the new favourite to become the new Rangers manager. Now, this was broken yesterday. Lots of bookies have dropped the odds to like Alex Neil to go to Rangers to like 5-4. And it sort of came out of nowhere, really. Chris Sutton, former Norwich and Celtic player, has had something to say on this. He said on BT Sport, is Alex Neil going to leave Norwich? I don't think so. Standing, he was under pressure at Norwich. They went through a tricky period, saw it through, but there was always this lingering thing in the background with Alex Neil about a huge payoff and whether that kept him a job. I would be shocked if he ended up at Rangers. Now, I kind of see where this story has come from, and the bookies obviously don't really mess about when it comes to this. Someone has obviously put a lot of money on Alex Neil to go to Rangers. And, you know, Rangers are really struggling. I think someone said they're like, was it 33 points behind Celtic or something ridiculous. They are back in the Scottish Premier League, which is great to see, but, you know, they're struggling. They were in Division 3 a few seasons back, so you can understand that. Rangers are a massive football club, one of the world's biggest clubs. And you kind of think that it would be something that Alex Neil possibly sniffed at. It is an upgrade on Norwich. You have to admit that. You know, a possibility of Champions League football a few seasons down the line if he does well. Possibility of winning the Scottish Premier League. I'm not sure how close that is for Rangers and where how far they are behind Celtic. But it is a big opportunity. You just think that with Alex Neil at the moment, Norwich is currently probably a bit of a stain on his CV. Yes, he took us into the Premier League, and I think that's what he's kind of living on at the moment. That season, he got us relegated from the Premier League, and now he's struggling with us in the Championship. And you just think that he probably does want to put his wrongs right at Norwich City, and he does want to prove to us Norwich fans that he is a top manager and not a bit of a one-season wonder. So it's going to be interesting following this story over the next couple of days. It would be very ironic, wouldn't it, that we were all calling for Alex Neil to go. He stayed. He was very stubborn. The board backed him, and then he just went to Rangers. It would be very strange. It would probably be very apt if that's the way it's going to happen. But definitely keep an eye out on that one. I think many people are ruling it out, but a lot of people also are saying that it's probably not going to happen. Also, let's go on to the Pink 'Un now, where Paddy Davitt has written an article. The very well-respected Paddy Davitt, and certainly one of the best journalists around. He's written about Norwich City and the CEO search. Of course, we've kind of forgotten about that we don't have a CEO at the moment since the big game against Ipswich and the other big games that have happened. We still don't have a CEO, and Steve Stone is still the man in interim charge. He hasn't been made permanent yet, but who knows, he might be able to. And Paddy Davitt basically speaks in this about that we don't need to make a rash decision at the moment. Let's wait until May, and then let's bring a CEO in then. I'm sure we've got people looking at possible replacements. I'm sure Ed Balls is looking, and I'm sure we've hired a recruitment team of possibly going out there and looking for a CEO. It was obvious that the Jez Moxey deal, although it was done quick, wasn't the right one. I'm sure Jez Moxey is a good CEO at the right club, but he just didn't fit in with the morals of Norwich City. He didn't fit in with what we wanted to achieve, and we all know how that ended with him resigning. So let's just keep it calm on the CEO front. I think Steve Stone's doing a good job for now, and let's just keep on trying to just play our games, picking up the points, and hopefully getting promoted into the Premier League before we start worrying about a CEO. The next one is it's an article from Mark Armstrong, once again from the Pink 'Un. And he's basically talking about Jacob Murphy and the struggles that the youth face going into the first team. And I think this is a really nice article, actually. As always, I'll link all the articles down in the description below. But he's basically saying that the game against Ipswich was the perfect kind of story of youth and going into the first team and the struggles they face and the patience that fans need, because although Jacob Murphy was probably at fault for Ipswich's goal, he didn't track his man. You could see Pinto clearly shouting at him and Roddy clearly shouting at him to pick up Knudsen. He didn't, and we conceded. But then 5 minutes later, he comes up with a spark of brilliance, and we're suddenly at 1-1. I was so proud of Jacob Murphy, and I was so proud of Norwich City for giving a young lad a chance, a 22-year-old who I suppose in modern day football isn't actually that young, but he's a player who's come through the academy, and we've given him a chance, and he's stepped up on the biggest stage arguably for us. So that's fantastic. He scored 9 goals this season, which is a decent return. And it's really interesting, actually. I was speaking to one of my mates the other night who isn't a Norwich City fan, and he went to the under-23 game, and he was quite critical of the youth players, and he was like, how many of these players will actually make it? And you look back and you were like, actually, we haven't really put that many youth players into the first team. You've got Harry Toffolo's knocking on the door and doing well at a League One club. You've got, obviously, the 2 Murphys. But except for that, you haven't really got anyone else. I mean, you've had Cameron McGean, who's gone on to do brilliant things at Luton. But in terms of, coming into the Norwich first team, it's very few. You look at the Murphys and you knew from the beginning that they were going to make it because they were just standout performers week in, week out for the under-17s, under-18s, under-19s, under-21s and stuff like that. So I just, if you listen to anything from this video, it's that just give the youngsters a chance because they are our future. It's getting to a stage now where we're probably not going to be able to spend £7-8 million on these players like Alex Pritchard and Yannick Wildschut, and we're going to have to rely on your Jacob Murphys, your Josh Murphys, your Glenn Middletons, your James Maddisons. So although they might make mistakes, just remember that they are our future, and we've got to kind of tread carefully in where we criticise them. So that's that. And the final bit of news is just a really random one. Norwich City have announced that they're doing an evening with Phil Tufnell. Possibly the most random guest they could have got. So basically they do these evenings where they get a speaker in, you have a 3-course meal, they charge you a lot of money for it, and you get to listen to the guest speaker. On this occasion, it's Phil Tufnell. A bit of a random one, no links with Norwich City. Just really odd. So I thought I'd leave you with that one. Also, a few bits of news that you might want to check out. Podcast is out. Go and listen to that on SoundCloud. It's soon to be on iTunes. I'm just waiting for Apple to validate it. And it's also on YouTube, so go and check that out. A couple of EDP articles were written in the week about myself, about the EFL ruling, about whether it's right to film at games or not. It kind of all blew up a little bit, so EDP articles, go and check them out if you want to. And yeah, thanks very much for watching this Breakfast with TNC. As always, a massive thank you to Acle Bridge Inn. Go and check out them. Go down there and get some food and stuff. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you very soon. Peace out.
Once upon a time, a fairy tale.